Alright, hello people. This is a guide for how to do solo reflecting. For this guide you're going to want to be on a guardian. You're going to need two things. First of all, you're going to need a shield. You're going to need wall of reflection, and I'm going to highly recommend that you put 10 points into virtues so you can grab virtues 6 for Master of Consecrations. The reason is not for the recharge, it's for the duration. You want that extra duration for your shields. So, for those of you who don't know, the worm has 3 sets of mobs, or adds that it spawns. There's these worms that pop out of the ground, can't do nothing about them, gotta kill them with power. There's husks, they always spawn, you have to kill them with conditions. And then there's larvae. The larvae come out of eggs that the worm shoots, and the eggs can actually be reflected, so if you do this right, you won't have any eggs, which is kinda necessary to a really successful run. Because the larvae are very problematic. They do a lot of damage and it's AoE, and it just generally causes a bad time. So, the worm's egg shot animation, it can actually either be eggs or husks. So, since you can't tell between the two before it shoots, you want to, you're going to want to be able to reflect for both. Now, typically what we've been doing is you have a party with 2 teams in it. So the first team, the first time the animation plays, they drop their walls, and if it's eggs, then you've done your job, and if it's husks, then the next group steps up, and when the animation plays again, they reflect it, and then the eggs go back. And that's all fine and well, but you can actually do this with one person. So what you're going to do is you're going to walk into position, and when the animation plays, you're going to drop your shield of absorption, which is your shield number 5. This lasts 4 seconds, which is enough time to swivel your camera around, take a look at what is being shot. If you see husks, then no worries, you've still got your wall up. And if you see eggs, then you actually just drop your wall, and then you should be fine. There's about 45 seconds between egg shots, and so where you've got 32 seconds on a traded wall, the 40-second cooldown on a non-traded, 40 seconds on shield absorption, so you're covered with your cooldowns. Yeah, I can go over some more tactics. So, when your cooldowns are off, you're going to want to be standing inside the worm. The positioning for your walls, or you walk into it until you can't see your character model anymore. And then you're kind of in the right spot. You're going to walk in from the front, which for Crimson at least, it's this way, this direction, so that your wall is oriented in the correct position. Yeah, so when your cooldowns are off, you want to be inside the worm, just kind of waiting for its spitting of the eggs or the husks. While you're inside the worm, it's got 2 attacks that you want to be careful about. It's got the small spin and the large spin. They've both got these huge AoE reticles that you can see on the ground, so as soon as you see them you dodge it, you're fine. Small spin is followed up by a spit attack, so if you kind of dodge backwards, you should be safe from the spit itself. And then the only other real concerns are the husks. If your condition team isn't really taking care of them, you might get parasites, which will kind of give you a debuff that will stun you at random times. You want something like this. Gives you a break stun, gives you stability to kind of work with that. And then there's also those little worms that kind of tunnel around. They've actually got a knockback, which can be really annoying, so I like to pop stability if they're kind of sitting around me when I'm getting ready to drop my shield. Even though you can solo, you're probably going to want to have another person with you to kind of give you a hand. They can kind of stand back and tell you, if it's being the eggs or the husks that are shooting out. And they can also just kind of be there in case you go down or you die or something like that, so that you're sure you've got the walls up. So here's our worm. Every worm is guaranteed to do at least 1 large spin before anything else. And then they'll either do more spins or they'll actually go into a shot. So it's nice to have a target on them, and then, yeah, here we go. Just kind of walk in. You can't see your character model in, then you're fine. This is a large spin, so I'm just going to dodge now. And then it should be an egg shot next, so we just kind of get ready. Yep. And then we drop wall thingy. That's eggs. You don't see anything flying out. That means your shield of absorption has absorbed it. You see the drop the wall there. And then he's doing the animation again, and this time it's the husks. But yeah, so typically what I've been doing is my shield of absorption catches the first shot. I use that to gauge whether or not it's husks. The second shot's still caught by the shield typically, and then my wall's been placed in time for the third shot to be covered. Because the shield only lasts 4 seconds, so you're not actually, it's not going to be up for the third shot, which is why we dropped the wall anyway. Excuse me. So there's a small spin. Just going to do a spit attack afterwards. See, flying up there. Just going to move into position here, wait for it, and there's the animation, so we jump shield. Again, nothing popping out, so it's eggs. And once again, nothing getting through. Lovely. It's what we love to see. So now the extractors are full, so we're going to move into the burn phase positioning. What you want to do is kind of face this way, get inside the worm. Crimson likes to do a bunch of attacks, so we're just going to have to dodge that. And then you just kind of do your burn. Good time for elementalist weapons. You know, he places banners outside your stack, you get some fire fields up, get some might, nice damagey. If you stand in here, you notice we're getting these double numbers on the auto attack cleave, so that's kind of what you want to see to make sure you're getting your damage. Just a note, this is a TTS Chaos Worm, so we're probably not going to get successful since we've only been spending about 5 minutes to set this up. So after the burn, typically they do a spin, and then eggs. So you're going to want to pull your shield back out, want to get in position. That's the animation, drop the shield. Husks this time, so we just save the wall. No worries. There's the animation, drop wall, and eggs reflect, eggs reflect, eggs reflect. That's really all there is to it. It's just kind of notes about the nuances of the different worms. Cobalt's typically pretty well behaved. Yeah, just standard reflecting. Crimson, not quite so as much, but still pretty easy. I'd say he's this kind of the middle child, you know. And what I mean is that when you've got the 3 phytotoxin things filled, and the message pops up telling you you've got the burn starting, then he can actually still do the egg shot instead of going right into a burn phase, which is kind of annoying. So you need to be ready for that. And then Amber's the problem child, so it'll actually occasionally shoot the eggs immediately after a burn. It won't do a spin, so you really have to be ready. And here's the animation, drop the shield, eggs, no husk flying out there, so we drop the wall. Last shot gets reflected, no problems. And yeah, like I was saying, so Amber, it'll pop out of the burn phase, and where, like you've seen in this video, and you'll see it again in a minute, because we're going into another burn. The reason why I'm not staying ready is because I've got 20 seconds on my cooldown left. I know it's not going to shoot any more eggs for a while. But yeah, so Amber, it'll pop out of the burn phase, and instead of doing a large spin, it'll just shoot eggs right away. So you really have to be ready for that. And other than that, you know, it's just standard reflecting, easy peasy. Elementalists are the other class we use for reflects, but I don't believe they've got enough walls or stuff to do this. And plus, with Guardians, the nice thing is, with the 2 reflects I'm using here, they don't have any cast times, so as soon as you need them, you press the button, they're there for you. And here's that large spin I was talking about. So we dodge it, get in position, pull the shield out, and there's the animation, drop the wall, nothing popping out, drop the wall again, and bam, no eggs. These are those little worms. They're annoying. Typically they'll group up on the worm when everybody's doing the burn phase, because that's where everybody is. They'll be drawn in. And so after burns, you kind of have to watch out for those. You know, you don't want to get knocked down. You don't want to get too much damage. It can be pretty annoying to have your whole run messed up by that, because if you miss one set of reflects, it's something like around 9 eggs that'll pop down, and those take a while to kill, so typically you'll get a lot of larvae, and they'll actually really screw with your next walls. causes a lot of problems, and it'll actually really hurt in the burn phase, because for one thing it'll knock people down, people will be starting to die, animation, drop wall, nothing popping out, drop wall, easy peasy. But yeah, so you'll have people kind of get downed, and not only that, but you'll have the AoEs kind of in the worm, which is where you're going to be, so they're going to hurt you while you're trying to drop your reflex. You're going to have them in close proximity, so they might aggro on you, and they might stick around to shoot you, and that's really not something you want to have, so you've really got to be on your A game doing this. Don't want to miss anything. So we've still got 8 seconds, extractors are full, so since we've got enough cooldown, he's probably not going to do it. On the other hand, he's still doing animations, and the cooldown just came off, so you want to be ready just in case. It's likely that he's just going to fall down. Yeah, just falling down. I guess I can also talk about the utilities I like to use. So I use Signal to Resolve. The other healing I would use is... The other healing I would use is the Shelter, because blocks are nice to have. And I like Wall of Reflection, obviously, you need that. I like to use Stand Your Ground, it's nice, short cooldown, Stun Break, and Stability. It's really all in one package. Can be traded and stuff for Condi Clear. This might be a problem. Wall. And that's husks. You can see that husk. It's kind of blocked, but you gotta be able to pick these up. And there's the other animations. You drop the wall. X reflected, X reflected, X reflected. Easy peasy. Yeah, so nice, easy, good package. Does everything. The other is more of a choice. I like Judge's Intervention. It's really good for phase 2 when the head's moving around. It serves as another gap closer with really long range, 1200. It's also a stun break in case you need an extra one. So again, really useful. And then Tome of Wrath, because your number 4 is pretty much a time warp, and your number 3 is a really quick bunch of might given out. So we move inside, just kind of waiting again. Just doing a spin. Don't have to worry about that. So we gotta dodge. Stay inside. And a big spin. Just gonna wait for that. Dodge it. Easy peasy. Stay in position. Now we've got the animations. We drop the bubble. We don't see anything popping out, so it's eggs. Drop the wall, and it's all reflected. I like to use Greatsword and then Sword Shield. Shield's nice because you need it to do Solar Reflect. Sword's great because you have Flashing Blade, which is a stun or a gap closer. And also you've got good damage with the Zealot's Defense and your autos if you need it. Cooldown's still up, so that must be husks. Yep. And then Greatsword obviously is your real damage. So plus it's got a gap closer as well on the number 3 here. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can tell you about how to do Solar Reflex. It's kind of a matter of getting your practice in, getting a good eye for seeing whether or not the eggs or the husks are being shot on that first shot. But other than that, like it's pretty simple stuff. And I guess shout out to Mr. Gambito, this fellow over here, or not Gambito. I mean, he does good work, but it was Mindu Highwind actually who kind of brought this to my attention. So we drop the shield because we see the animation, don't see husks, drop wall, and see the zeros means we did it. Another good thing about having Virtues 6 is, even though, like, say you misjudge it, if you drop that wall kind of after, or during the second shot there, it should still be up if the worm doesn't do a spin between shots. So it'll say it shoots the husks out, and you see the shot, but you think it's eggs, and it does the shot, and your wall you drop the wall, and it misses because it's a husk. The worm will typically do the next shot right away, so it'll start shooting eggs out, and your wall will still be up, and it should be able to catch that all. And then we see the animation, drop the bubble, that's a husk, you see that husk, easy. Extractors are full, but I would wager Yep, see that animation? Drop the wall, and reflect, 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 and then you can just move back into the burn.